evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV, coming to you live on TODDLER, channel 106 on Kenstream app, as well as on Facebook, Camnet TV, and on our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. Rooster chicken attacks toddler in KANYAMA. SAFADA warns minimum price drop is temporal, urges caution over maize sales. UPND adopts LUFEYO for LUMEZI by-elections. In international news, Morocco expands human stray dog program ahead of 2030 World Cup. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO names 25-man provisional squad for June friendlies. I will be back with the details shortly after this break.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
With the news in detail, my name is Sylvia Zulu. A 1-year-old and 8-month-old baby has been injured after being attacked by a rooster in KANYAMA compound, Lusaka. The incident occurred on May 25, 2025, around 10:30 hours in Kanono area, while the child played outside the house with his elder sibling. According to a report filed at KANYAMA police station by the child's father, a 42-year-old resident of the same area, the rooster, belonging to their 43-year-old landlord, suddenly attacked the boy and inflicted a deep cut on his head. Assistant Public Relations Officer Godfrey Chilabi says preliminary investigations by police revealed that the bird has a known history of aggressive behavior and is alleged to have previously attacked other children in the neighborhood. This development has raised concerns among residents over the safety of children in the area, especially in densely populated compounds where animals are kept in close proximity to households.
KANYAMA police station recorded a report in which a boy aged 1 year and 8 months sustained injuries after being attacked by a rooster. This occurred on May 25, 2025, around 10:30 hours in the Kanono area of KANYAMA compound in Lusaka. The incident was reported by the victim's father, a 42-year-old resident of the same locality. Preliminary investigations indicate that on the material day, the child was playing outside the house with his elder sibling when a rooster, owned by their 43-year-old landlord, suddenly attacked and inflicted a deep cut on the child's head. It is alleged that the same rooster has a history of aggressive behavior and has previously attacked other children in the area. A medical report form was issued and the child was rushed to the hospital for treatment, where he was attended to and later discharged. Meanwhile, the Zambia Police Service has engaged relevant stakeholders, including the veterinary department, for the quarantine of the bird and necessary veterinary forensic investigations, as well as the Lusaka City Council for enforcement actions against the owner of the bird in accordance with Section 67 of the Public Health Act, Chapter 295 of the Laws of Zambia, and Statutory Instrument Number 44 of 2007, which prohibit nuisances.
Meanwhile, Simpson Managing Director Chitambala Mwewa, popularly known as Simon Mwewa Lane, has been attacked by a group of street vendors in Lusaka's Central Business District. The incident occurred on the morning of May 26, 2025, around 08 hours near the Simpson building along the lane that bears his name. Mr. Mwewa was reportedly advising vendors to stop trading along the drainage on Simon Mwewa Lane and return to the designated trading space inside Simon Mwewa Market. In response, the group of vendors turned hostile and began throwing stones at him, with one striking him on the forehead and causing a noticeable swelling. Assistant Public Relations Officer Godfrey Chilabi says police officers arrived at the scene shortly after being alerted, but found that the attackers had already dispersed. Mr. Chilabi says a case of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, or ABH, has since been recorded at Lusaka Police Station, with authorities launching investigations into the accident. Meanwhile, a medical report has been issued to the complainant. However, no arrests have been made in connection with the assault so far.
Wish to confirm that police in Lusaka have recorded a case of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, in which the complainant is Mr. Chitambala Mwewa of Avondale, Lusaka, who is the managing director at Simpson Building. The incident occurred today, May 26, 2025, around 08 hours near the Simpson Building area. Brief facts of the matter are that Mr. Mwewa approached a group of vendors and advised them to desist from vending along the drainage on Simon Mwewa Lane and return to their designated trading area inside Simon Mwewa Market. In response, the group mobilized and began throwing stones at him. One of the stones struck him on the forehead, resulting in a noticeable swelling. He immediately reported the matter to City Market Police Post. Police officers responded promptly to the scene. However, the suspects had already fled by the time of their arrival. Investigations have been instituted and a medical report form has been issued to the complainant. No arrests have been made so far. We appeal to members of the public who may have information that could assist in apprehending the suspects to come forward and assist the police.
Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, says corruption and emerging threats to press freedom are undermining Zambia's democratic progress and the values of good governance. The organization made the remarks in a statement issued to commemorate Africa Freedom Day 2025, warning that political independence alone is not enough without strong accountability systems and respect for fundamental rights. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe says recent developments, including the suspension of over $50 million in the health sector funding by the United States due to alleged procurement-related corruption, reveals the severe consequences of failing to uphold transparency in public service.
We would like to honor the legacy of the continent's liberation struggles, but also to celebrate the progress that we have made as a country in terms of advancing democracy, advancing peace, and indeed development in general. But having said that, it is also worth mentioning that this year's commemoration, certainly in respect of Zambia, comes at a time when we find ourselves at a critical juncture. On one hand, we have seen some encouraging signs of reform, such as increased citizen engagement in monitoring of public service delivery. You could talk about improved agricultural performance and indeed efforts towards restoring fiscal discipline, as well as transparency through international cooperation, among other things. So all these are very positive steps that we commend. and that must not only be protected but also deepened. But having said that, on the other hand, we have seen recent developments that have really raised very legitimate concerns about the strength of our accountability mechanisms within our governance architecture. You can talk about what has happened with the US government and them cutting funding to Zambia's Ministry of Health, which of course points to weaknesses within our accountability mechanisms in that space. Very recently, we also had the case of the injunction that has been granted to the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, restraining news diggers from airing an investigative documentary, which is a development that really raises concerns related to press freedom. We do acknowledge that every individual or organization or entity does have the right to seek legal recourse or legal redress, but at the same time,
The United Party for National Development, UPND, has adopted LUFEYO as its candidate for the upcoming by-elections in LUMEZI constituency, Eastern Province. This development follows the recent conviction of former area member of Parliament, Munia Zulu, which led to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, declaring the seat vacant. Speaking during a media briefing, UPND Chairman for Elections, Garin Kombo, called for peaceful and transparent elections, urging all stakeholders to adhere strictly to the provisions of the Electoral Process Act. Mr. Nkombo further emphasized the importance of all parties involved in the electoral process executing their responsibilities diligently to ensure a free, fair and peaceful election. Meanwhile, Mr. Ngoma expressed his gratitude to the party for the opportunity to contest the seat, pledging to work hard and secure victory for the UPND in LUMEZI.
It's not about me, it's about the party, it's about the president. Our call is to make sure that we deliver the seat to the UPND. And of course, I must say, we are delivering the seat without any compromise. So I'm grateful to the management of the party. I'm grateful to the media that you've come to cover us. And so I've got very few words that the seat belongs to UPND and we are going to deliver. Thank you very much. I'm greatly humbled.
That we from the UPND want to pronounce ourselves very clearly that we are looking forward to a peaceful election process in LUMEZI, an election that will be abiding by the Electoral Processes Act, and we are appealing upon all the players, starting with us, the politicians, those who are going to participate, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, who are the referees of this competition, the Zambia Police, who are the law enforcers, to each play their part. And we are very hopeful that we are going to go through this process of the election at the end of this month without incidents.
On this application, close to 14 applicants came forward, and then we trimmed it down to 7. When it was shortlisted, we started the process of interviews, and the interviews starting from the constituency, district and the province, finally the National Management Committee.
Certificate that we are handing over.
Adias, newsstand. Adias, newsstand.
The Small Scale Farmers Development Agency, SAFADA, says the reduction in mielie meal prices is temporal and may not last beyond the next 3 months, citing uncertainty in maize supply and concerns over the sustainability of current market conditions. SAFADA Chief Executive Officer Boyd Moe says while the Ministry of Agriculture projects a maize harvest of approximately 3.6 million metric tons for the 2024-2025 farming season, the amount is only sufficient for domestic consumption and does not provide for strategic reserves or export needs. Mr. Moe has, however, commended farmers for their efforts, but warns that the projected supply may be vulnerable to unforeseen challenges such as poor post-harvest handling, storage issues, or market disruptions.
We appreciate and commend farmers in Zambia for producing enough stock for the country. We are told that government is predicting, is saying that we are likely to produce about 3.6 million metric tons of maize, which is quite enough. Looking at how much we consume as a country, the rate is about 2.8 million metric tons. That's what we use. So meaning that you are going to have a balance of 500,000 metric tons, which will be available as surplus. So we commend farmers for that. But as SAFADA, we don't want to conclude that this is a bumper harvest because it will affect the price. Already, we understand the National Millers Association of Zambia is actually predicting that the price for meal will come down to 240 as the lowest price for breakfast, and roughly between 240 and 286. So that will happen because farmers will retest it. They will sell their maize at a low price. So we are afraid this will affect farmers and farmers may lose out. Otherwise, it's a good thing that you have had, despite a lot of challenges that farmers have.
The Agricultural Climate Action says climate-smart agriculture is key to addressing Zambia's rising levels of poverty and food insecurity, particularly in rural communities affected by climate change. The organization is advocating for a nationwide shift from conventional farming to sustainable practices that enhance productivity while safeguarding natural resources. Agriculture Climate Action Executive Director Dr. Oliver Bulaya emphasized the need for Zambia to redefine its understanding of freedom beyond political independence to include economic resilience, environmental sustainability, and food security. The organization highlighted that communities across the country continue to face severe agricultural challenges, including erratic weather patterns, prolonged droughts, and declining soil fertility.
On this African Freedom Day, we pay tribute to our heroes who emancipated us. We honor those who selflessly gave their lives for the love of our country. Their sacrifices, some paying the ultimate price to the point of shedding blood, have allowed us to enjoy the freedom we cherish today. In reflecting on their bravery, let us recognize the importance of our own commitment to Zambia. Each of us has a unique talents and skills that can contribute to the betterment of our nation. It is our responsibility to channel these gifts towards building a stronger and more prosperous Zambia. Together, let us honor their legacy by actively participating in the development of our communities and working towards a brighter future for all. Our collective efforts can make a significant impact, ensuring that the sacrifices of our heroes continues to inspire generations to come. Let us unite in purpose and dedication for a better Zambia. We take advantage of this day to celebrate our farmers' resilience and unwavering commitment to food security across our continent. Your hard work in the fields is not just about growing crops, it's about nurturing the future of Africa and ensuring that every community has access to nutritious food.
Residents of Kadikiliki compound in Lusaka have raised concern over an incident in which 2 girls aged 6 and 7 were allegedly locked inside the house by their mother, who is said to have gone on a drinking spree involving the locally brewed alcohol known as kachasu. According to area resident Simon Intete, the 2 minors were left unattended, describing the act as gross negligence that endangered their safety and well-being. Another neighbor, Priska Walia, said she only heard the children's voices crying for help from inside the locked house. She condemned the act and urged women to prioritize the welfare of their children. Meanwhile, the children's grandmother, Maria Piri, said she was not responsible for the girls at the time of the incident.
Amid growing public concern over child neglect, residents of Lusaka's Kalikiliki compound have expressed outrage after 2 young girls aged 6 and 7 were allegedly locked inside the house while their mother went on a drinking spree involving the locally brewed spirit known as kachasu. Community member Simon Tete described the situation as a clear case of negligence, noting that the children were left unattended and vulnerable.
Ichachitika papa nganda pa abene banganda 2 days kwisalira abana mu nganda baleya na kunchito basha abana balelira mpaka toitana bakapokole bakisa.
Another resident, Priska Walia, said she only heard the girls' voices from inside the locked house through a hole in the wall believed to have been created by the children themselves. She condemned the act, stating that no woman should lock children alone in a house and urged government intervention to prevent similar cases.
Vana venze umana komina mailo ma 17 hours depena komera vana sasa tashitoambela lelo ma 11 hours vana ishwapunda babola paja konso kubabola kudogo nze kokoma kumnali bena muntu aliyense muzeshe tukuvana tungono twekatweka so mai mkazi wabino bwino wano mwanzo zaka zili 5 banambela leba sanga siye bana mnyumba bantu bana bapiera mnyumba bakufa bana manyumba so na manje pano so akabeno oneka sazivika kapani kutsikwa menalili kumbozi na
Margaret Pirintete, also a resident, added that the children had been locked since 17 hours the previous day. She called on mothers to take responsibility for their children's welfare, warning that such behavior could lead to disaster.
So, taingombeja bauti tubana tulira mnyumba. Bana balira so babinangala nawa bangala kusedo kwa ta bana komelewa mailo 17 hours mnyumba kamwana ka 3 years na ka 5 years. So man pandanga concern to mje bana vikachitika vilivonse ndife tizafunziwa. Ndiye metaenda kupeleka report kuti kuli bana bakomelewa mpaka msanga babwera bakapokora bora kuona bana baje tungono cha betu bana. So hii system hii awe shuwa ile keke bazima ishuwa kifwaje kuti bana ni bana bantu pano balira bana bati bana ukomele bana banade choka mailo bachibe mnyumba mwamene umu mpaka bana.
However, in a twist, the children's grandmother Maria Piri said the mother had not locked the children herself, but rather neighbors had done so after she went drinking. She appealed to well-wishers to assist her grandchildren who are currently not in school with sponsorship and support.
Bana sankara na ine, ankara na mai wake. So ine, nize kunyumba kuseni, so na ndabaje bantu kunyumba bonitana. Anuza ati bwana kuno imwe ujamsika ankara paja ni mwana wanu nate ni mwana wanga ato ujamsika akomera tubana natukomera mailo ma 17 hours so tubana uto tuli mnyumba tungolira tulitweka twafanya na nyumba so tusonjerera pachane pambo ndiye mwana nyamukira enene nzo washa na siya kuwasha no bwera pa nyumba paja kupeza zoona bana bali mu nyumba bangosonjerera namufunsa nipe mpako kuti ngati kuli amene angakwanise kunthandizirako angandithandizire kuti pa bana pamene alili wonse palibe amene ayenda ku sukulu so nipe mpako ngati kungapezeke thandizo kuti angandithandizireko kuti bana bayende ku sukulu.
Residents are now calling on authorities to investigate the matter and strengthen children protection measures in vulnerable communities. For Camnet TV, Mercy Matendeko.
Copperbelt Energy Corporation, CEC, has achieved a historic milestone, becoming the first company listed on the Lusaka Securities Exchange, LUSE, to reach a market capitalization of $1 billion. This remarkable feat underscores investor confidence in the company and its strong growth trajectory. The company's share price surged by 6.19% from 16 kwacha 65 ingwe to 17 kwacha 68 ingwe on May 22nd, 2025, pushing its market capitalization over the $1 billion mark. This impressive growth is part of a larger trend, with the share price rising by 27% since the beginning of the year and an astonishing 129.02% year-on-year growth. According to Owen Silavwe, CEC's managing director, this achievement reflects the strong confidence investors have placed in the company's business, operations, strategy, and brand. Meanwhile, LUSE's Chief Executive Officer Nicholas Kabaso commended CEC for its remarkable achievement, saying it reflects strong investor confidence, the company's consistent performance, and the growing maturity of the exchange. Mr. Kabaso noted that CEC has consistently demonstrated leadership and innovation in Zambia's energy sector since its listing on the LUSE in 2008. CEC has been a pioneer in Zambia's energy sector, becoming the first local power utility to be listed, the first to commission a grid connection solar plant in 2018, and the first to register and issue a green bond on the Zambian capital market in 2023. Pupils at Imatango area in Senanga district have endured walking long distances for them to access education, a thing that worries their parents, and they are appealing to the government to put up a secondary school at Lukanda area, which is on a central place. Speaking to Camnet News in Imatango area in Senanga district, one of the residents, Mwila Nakoka, says pupils find it difficult to access education due to long distances to secondary schools. Mr. Nakoka further says pupils have to rent houses as most schools in the district. He is appealing to the government to put up a secondary school in the area.
Wabufumana kuzwa fade Rukanda kuyakafale atufumana secondary kwanu kubire utata hulu baba mubakona kuzwa kafale kutofita bayitulera fale suru fanne ko yabasali mazi bafera basali kibafokolia hulu twale ne rukupa tuso zikolo ze pahami ma secondary balubonere kwa 10 ne basaluboneri lukasupa minywana bana baluna babasali mazi bafera michaha au fumani anakuya musali fali ipeto na washimba waipurukera minamukana na minabashemi kuti kera yofita kwa skolo kantu inzi fahali nerukupa muso likolo ze pahamize barukutise zona nerukupa luli lwakupa
lo banana inge kuli mazazi achole banana feri sebazama achole kuli kuya kwa skolo sesi tuna konji ku yo campinga kufokwizima kisana itafale kuyofita itufa fahali fa akuna secondary lukana kuli kambe kuna ni secondary fahali kupoki kuli muso chwale ulubonele kwa teni kulutisa watendi kolo zale zetu na faka ufi
dikolo zeizima wadiaka sihulu ze pahami kaira fa grade about secondary education yuko kaira fa matauka senanga de kona kubea ni max night kona fera likoze pahami mi linzika kutatamana chole haluka kutabusebwale aluka ya nalonga lukanda situnga ze linzi mambala loli kono batu bana basikolo kwale banana basoli bakena bapasa abapasa batokwa kuli kambe zebona abuka ofini lukanda ni situnga likolo zepahami kitufa ni max night kaho ya inzi kwa lukanda kamba kwa situnga ako nikuzama kama hutu kuya kwa itufa kuli ayoke na hotel grade 10 kona kuli bashemi banani kubatandu ya rent ya kurentingira mwanana akala grade 8 manako fita grade 12 kuli mwana school anozwa suru baba sizani kwale wakona kutofumana muna yaka supply yanga mufane baka ne baka 5 kwacha ne baka bukai wale kaka pamela mina muli mwana wizi kwa school huko mu grade 8 nakukona kuifeza ko bashemi bakabera bunoro kulike bacha kwale palapa bayikabera niye na mwanana hailiza kwa baba kuli babezeza yoye bayofumane aza kucha bamufumane n'indi ya rent bashemi kubabera hulu butata kipila elo yenifumana ma community yo.
Western Province Principal Gender Officer Bruce Hamosokwe has called on stakeholders in the province to take a leading role in the fight of gender-based violence in the province. Mr. Hamosokwe said this after the stakeholders meeting held at Mongo Lodge, stating that the numbers of GVB in the province is escalating. He further said in order to fight it, the province has formed gender subcommittees, technical working groups. Meanwhile, one of the participants, Pastor Macy Namakau from Pastors Fellowship, appealed to all stakeholders to hold hands together in the fight in order to curb the vice.
The provincial administration through the Department of Gender has established the Provincial Gender Subcommittee as required by the National Gender Policy. The meeting, which organized by the Gender Department in partnership with the cooperating partners, Young Women Christian Association, is to strengthen Provincial Gender Subcommittee and District Gender Subcommittees. Bruce Hamosokwe is Western Province Provincial Principal Gender Officer.
The statistics for the province, they don't look so well, and that's the reason why different stakeholders have been invited to make sure that we come up with a common reporting framework and system, how we can be able to close up the gaps in terms of these incidents of GBV. We are going to agree on action points going forward, what has to be done, and also making sure that we develop a calendar. Okay, that is what we're going to use for the 2 remaining quarters of the year, so that we can be able to measure progress in terms of making sure that issues to do with gender-based violence are reduced and minimized in the province. We need to manage this violence.
And Pastor Macy Namakau from Pastors Fellowship has appealed to other stakeholders in the province to work together with the police in the fight of gender-based violence in the province.
Then from that nilipulano nilikolofalo nitabaye kitabaye tuna yesa swanirikuli itali mwefera kimakulu niluna batu sichaba ma department amuso kafera ni una bakereke swanela kuba bumwi swali sana kwa maana ni ndwaye kiyetuna kakuliyeza affect bana bauna bakamuso babaswanela kutoba bashemi ngelu naluli bashemi chole kitaba yebonsa kuli aibalusati nikutalima kulibweza chwani kaswali sana tabaye yahula bana baluna basimyeire kamba basimyeya.
Meanwhile, others who spoke are Diana Isteketo, Senior Agenda Officer, and Yariwe Mumbana, Provincial AIDS Coordinator.
We've been having a lot of GBV cases, child defilement, all sorts of different types of GBV. So we appeal to the community to continue reporting these cases. We appeal to the community to make sure that at least there's free GBV cases in our province. province.
Open court system should be a thing of the past, under the tree, or where we have to just wait. Now we have a resident high court judge, right, which was not there. But now we need to ensure that all these facilities are there in the district.
Mutsebo Kabira, Camnet News in Mongo District, Western Province.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV, coming to you live on TODDLER, channel 106, on Kenstream app, on Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as YouTube, Camnet TV. When I'll take a set of commercials, I will be back with the rest of the news after the break. Keep watching.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And now, in international news, Morocco is ramping up a nationwide initiative to humanely manage its stray dog population through a trap, neuter, vaccine and return (TNVR) program aimed at balancing public health, safety and animal welfare. The move comes amid heightened international scrutiny following the country's selection as a co-host for the 2030 FIFA World Cup. In Rabat, a stray dog, locally known as a Beldi, is gently lifted from a cage and placed on a surgery table where it receives a rabies vaccine and is spayed. A blue tag is then clipped to her ear, signifying she has been treated and poses no health threat. This process is part of Morocco's expanding TNVR program, launched in 2019, which targets the country's estimated 1.2 to 1.5 million stray dogs. Here is a roundup of international news.
Morocco is on a mission to get its street dogs healthy. This dog is one of hundreds being brought in to see this vet who will vaccinate it before it's returned back to the streets. A process that Moroccan officials say prioritizes public health as well as animal well-being. The dogs are observed during their quarantine period, examined to check their health condition, vaccinated against rabies, and treated for parasites. A full internal and external anti-parasitic treatment is administered. Then, depending on their health status, the necessary surgical procedures are scheduled. An ovariectomy is performed on females depending on the condition of their uterus, and a castration is performed on males. Each dog is spayed, vaccinated against rabies, and clipped with a blue tag to make clear they do not pose any danger. It's all part of Morocco's Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate and Return program that started in 2019. Since 2019, Morocco has committed to implementing the TNVR method, which consists of capturing these animals, sterilizing them to prevent reproduction, and vaccinating them against rabies, deworming them, identifying them with ear tags, and then releasing them. Meanwhile, a draft law is also in the works that would require owners to vaccinate pets and impose penalties for animal abuse. The draft law will ensure a balanced and conciliatory approach addressing public safety, human health, and animal welfare. All the actions that Morocco has undertaken align perfectly with the framework of the Global Strategic Plan to eradicate human rabies of canine origin by 2030. Morocco now expanding its program as animal rights groups accuse it of ramping up efforts to cull street dogs after being named co-host of the 2030 FIFA World Cup. Authorities estimate there could be as many as 1.5 million stray dogs in the country. As the summit for Southeast Asian nations gets underway in Kuala Lumpur, it's a conflict that's outside the region that is weighing heavily on minds here. Malaysia's foreign minister using the meeting to call out Israel and condemn its actions in Gaza.
Excellencies, crises around the world continue unabated. The total siege of Gaza by the Israeli forces is causing mass starvations and death. The atrocities committed against the Palestinian people continue to reflect indifference and double standards. They are a direct result of a erosion of sanctity and international law. ASEAN cannot remain silent. We have a voice in world affairs, and we must use our voice to speak up for the oppressed and offer solutions grounded in principles and international law.
The appeal comes as Israel ramps up its military campaign in Gaza. Since the start of the war, Kuala Lumpur has donated more than $10 million to Palestinians. Muslim-majority Malaysia has no diplomatic relations with Israel.
In April 2025, Sudan's Rapid Support Forces (RSF) seized control of the Zamzam displacement camp in North Darfur following a brutal 3-day assault. The attack resulted in the death of over 400 civilians, including women, children, and aid workers, and forced approximately 400,000 residents to flee. The RSF justified the offensive by alleging that the Sudanese armed forces were using the camp as a military base and employing civilians as human shields. However, humanitarian organizations have condemned the assault, highlighting the dire conditions in Zamzam, where famine had been declared in August 2024. The conflict, ongoing since April 2023, has devastated Sudan, with over 12 million people displaced and nearly half the population facing extreme hunger. The RSF's action in Zamzam have exacerbated the humanitarian crisis, drawing international condemnation and calls for increased aid and intervention.
Zambia national team head coach Avram Grant has unveiled a 25-member provisional squad ahead of international friendly matches against Sudan and Tunisia, scheduled for June 6th and June 10th respectively in Morocco. The friendly fixtures form part of the Chipolopolo's broader preparations for the upcoming FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Zambia will host Morocco in September, followed by crucial ties against Tanzania and Niger in October. The squad is also preparing for the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON, which will take place in Morocco in December. According to the Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, the selected players will undergo a series of fitness assessments during training camp. The squad will be trimmed before the team departs for Morocco, with a technical bench keeping the door open for additional call-ups ahead of the September qualifiers. Zambia booked their place at the 2025 AFCON after finishing top of Group G with 13 points ahead of Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone and Chad. Coach Grant is expected to use the upcoming friendlies to fine-tune his squad and assess player readiness for the competitive fixtures ahead. The friendlies against Sudan and Tunisia will offer vital match practice and tactical insight as the team looks to build momentum heading into a busy second half of the year. That's it for our main news tonight. Remember, you have been catching us live on Topstar Channel 106 on Kenstream app, Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. Here is a recap of the stories making headlines. Rooster chicken attacks toddler in Kanyama. SAFADA warns mini-meal price drop is temporal. Urges caution over maize sales. UPND adopts LUFEYO for LUMEZI by-elections. In international news, Morocco expands human stray dog program ahead of 2030 World Cup. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO names 25-man provisional squad for June friendlies. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day coming from the book of James 4, verse 17. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good, and doeth it not, to him it is sin. Thank you so much for watching. That's it for tonight. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good night and God bless you all.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms, Camnet TV, not just another channel.